like rolling with new dudes.
No, jeez. It's ours, Danny.
8 million per bag.
Been out here so long. Come on.
It's locked.
You motherfucker!
Hello E-Star friends. In this episode, guys, we're going to recap the plot of an action-packed movie trailer. This film tells the story of a bank robbery carried out by two brothers. However, their actions are soon discovered by the police and the FBI. What follows is a tense chase and intense shootouts throughout their escape. The film was released on April 8, 2022, and received a rating of 6.3 out of 10 stars according to IMDb. So guys, make sure your gadget isn't low on battery and find your comfiest spot. Here it is, the plot of the movie Ambulance. The movie opens by showing the city of Los Angeles, the most populous city in the state of California and the second most populous in the United States after New York City. There, we are introduced to an American Marine Corps veteran named William Sharp. It is revealed that he is currently facing a financial crisis. In an effort to cover the medical expenses for his wife, who is battling cancer, he contacts the government insurance agency. Unfortunately, the agency is unable to cover the cost of his wife's surgery, despite the fact that he has served his country. When he asks for help, the result is disappointing. But as a devoted husband, of course, he doesn't want to let his wife down. William tells her that the insurance process is going well and reassures her, saying, "We're going to be okay." He then asks for permission to leave, saying he has a job interview for a warehouse position as a forklift operator. However, once he leaves the house, it turns out he's actually going to meet his adoptive brother. The next scene introduces us to Kim Thompson and her partner, Scott. They are medics from Emergency California Medical. They then receive a report about an accident. Without delay, they head to the scene to provide assistance. Upon arrival, Kim immediately checks the condition of a young girl who has sustained serious injuries.
Stay clear, I need to test. Put it at 8. No tab, trauma team ready and hot. We're gonna go dive. Look at me. I need you to be okay, okay?
The child was immediately rushed to the hospital for further treatment.
You alright?
Go up.
The next scene shows Will arriving at a luxury and classic car showroom owned by his adoptive brother. There, we are introduced to his adoptive brother, Danny Sharp. It's revealed that Danny has been a seasoned criminal, working in the underworld for many years. Having not seen each other for a long time, the two begin talking about their childhood. Will was once a homeless orphan who met Danny and was taken in by Danny's father as part of the family. Will used to be part of Danny's crew, always involved in their criminal operations together. However, after starting a family, Will chose to serve his country, which led him to leave Danny and his life of crime behind. Now, he's come to Danny seeking help. He needs $231,000 to pay for an experimental surgery for his wife. Upon hearing this, Danny responds, "How about I give you more than what you're asking for?" Danny then invites Will to join his crew. They're planning to rob a major bank downtown. That bank holds $32 million in cash. It's called Fierce National Bank, a place where the FBI stores seized money. According to Intel, the FBI is planning to move the money tonight after business hours, which is why Danny wants to hit the bank this afternoon. Knowing that, of course Will refuse to join, because he came to see Danny only to borrow some money. But Danny said, "Let me be honest with you. Right now, I'm out of cash. All my money has been invested to fund the equipment for this heist mission. Will, you need money for your wife's survival. The only way I can help you is by asking you to join this robbery. You'll get a big cut, and it's not a loan. You're my brother, I care about you, and I'll do whatever it takes to help you." The next scene introduces us to an LAPD officer named Zach Parker and his partner, Mark. Zach tells Mark that he has feelings for a woman named Kim. Kim works as a cashier at Fierce National Bank. However, Zach doesn't have the courage to confess his feelings to her just yet. He's still waiting for the right moment to tell her and ask her out on a date. Hearing that, Mark immediately turned the vehicle around. He planned to take Zeke to see Kim and force him to confess his love. At the same time, Will, Danny, and their team were already in the downtown area. Randazzo, the driver, then informed them to get ready because they were getting very close to the target. Upon arriving at the location, they entered through the basement level. However, it seemed their robbery plan had been detected by the police. An undercover officer spotted their arrival and reported it to his partner. They were members of the LAPD Special Enforcement Section, or SDS. They immediately relayed the information to their superior, Captain Monroe. Captain Monroe ordered them to hold off the assault to avoid bloodshed in the middle of the city. Meanwhile, the SDS team in the basement parking area began moving in through the rear access door. At the same time, Dzaghig and Marc also arrived at the scene. Marc asked Dzaghig to go inside while he stayed outside. However, the bank door was closed and locked. Suddenly, Danny opened the door and greeted him. Here, Danny appeared to be disguised as the bank manager. Dzaghig asked why the bank was closed. Danny replied, "Sorry, we're currently conducting a transfer operation in the back office. It's standard procedure." He then asked Dzaghig to come back in 20 minutes, but Dzaghig insisted on entering, claiming he wanted to open a new account, just so he could see Kim, the girl he had a crush on. To avoid arousing suspicion, Danny reluctantly allowed him to enter. But as Dzaghig turned around, click, Danny was already pointing a gun at him.
$32 million, guys. It's all yours. Please take it. We don't want any problems. Okay,
Outside, Marc looked uneasy, as Dzaghig still hadn't come out. Meanwhile, the LAPD special unit was on standby, waiting for the order to strike. Having successfully taken the money they were after, the crew asked Randazzo to pick him up at the side door. Unfortunately, the car broke down. Marc then approached and asked, "Why did you stop in the middle of the road?" "Sorry, officer, this damn car broke down," Randazzo replied. Marc then helped fix it. Danny and his crew began moving toward the side door, dragging Dzaghig along with them. After managing to get the car running, Marc told Randazzo to drive forward. However, when Marc looked through the glass window of the bank, he clearly saw that Dzaghig was being held hostage by Will. Suddenly, Randazzo came charging in with the car, trying to run him over, but Marc managed to dodge just in time. The city instantly plunged into chaos as one of Danny's crew opened fire, attempting to kill Marc. Sis didn't stay silent. They immediately advanced and returned fire. A fierce gunfight broke out.
Let's talk about the job. Oh my God.
The three of them kept running until they hit a dead end. They were trapped in the basement parking lot. Dzaghig then attacked Danny and tried to take his gun. Panicking, Will shot Dzaghig. After that, Danny forceful to escape with him. But still, they ran into another dead end. Several police officers were seen surrounding the area. They went back inside. At the same time, Kim and Scott were seen moving closer to the scene. The police, who had successfully subdued Danny's accomplices, entered the bank through the front entrance and side door to carry out the pursuit. Meanwhile, outside, heavily armed police units were seen surrounding the entire place. Dzaghig, who was lying on the ground covered in blood, kept screaming for help. Meanwhile, Danny and Will continued moving, firing shots at the police who were chasing them. Marc finally managed to find Dzaghig, followed shortly by two police vehicles arriving at the scene. Marc then called for medical assistance to come and help Dzaghig immediately. Kim and Scott, who received the emergency call, were seen entering the basement parking lot. At the same time, the police were still in pursuit of Danny and Will. Danny and Will kept moving, but it seemed like they couldn't find an exit. Kim and Scott, upon arriving, rushed to provide emergency treatment to Dzaghig, who was in critical condition from severe blood loss. They quickly loaded him into the ambulance and rushed him to the hospital. During the ride, Kim continued administering advanced medical care to Dzaghig. But suddenly, the ambulance came to a stop. In front of them, Danny and Will had found the exit gate. They blocked the ambulance and hijacked it.
We don't have a choice. Let's go.
Already?
No, I did not shoot. I ought to run at you, Camille. Move! The life you saved with Daniel. But I prefer Danny.
We got cops ahead.
Kim?
It's that time.
I got an officer down. I'm going to Memorial.
Right, let's go, let's go, let's go!
I got a cop. Let me do my job. What are you doing?
Give me
Button, the
Which
red
one?
right there.
There we go. Not as tight as I wanted, but we got through it.
They eventually managed to escape and leave the area. Not long after, Marc found Scott, who was injured. Scott informed him that the robbers had hijacked his ambulance. Marc immediately reported the incident to his team, prompting an instant response from the aerial patrol helicopter. On the way, Wale threw away the ambulance's GPS tracker and continued driving into a narrow alley to hide from the helicopter's line of sight.
You sure they see us or not? Will?
Nobody draws on fire.
Will, come.
Slowly, they began to move backward and then came to a stop again. This was Cam's chance to escape. Using a fire extinguisher, he attacked them and made a run for it. However, Danny ordered him to stop or he would shoot. Danny told him to get back in the vehicle immediately. At the same time, Zeke suffered a heart attack. Hearing this, Cam decided to return to the vehicle to help Zeke. After that, they continued on their way.
Here! Save that cop's life!
Did I?
The next scene shows Captain Monroe arriving at the crime scene. He meets with Marc and assures him that he will bring Zach back safely because he has the best team. Shortly after, he receives a report that the aerial patrol has located the suspects, who are still in the downtown area. They are currently moving south. Upon hearing this, Monroe orders his team to immediately begin the pursuit.
Then I push harder, get him off balance.
We got a brother cop on.
The next scene introduces us to FBI agent Anson Clark. He is a special agent in charge of the Federal Bank Division in Los Angeles. Shortly after, he receives a report about a major robbery at the Federal Bank. Meanwhile, tactical support teams from Central Headquarters have arrived on site to pursue the suspects. Here, we are also introduced to Lieutenant Dzaghig from the California Highway Patrol Division. Dzaghig is assigned to keep constant surveillance on the suspects. An additional aerial patrol unit is deployed to ensure the suspects are not lost from view. Monroe also requests the cyber unit from Central Headquarters to track any communication devices being used by the suspects. With LAPD's cutting-edge digital technology, the suspects' movements can be tracked in real time. Danny and Wale are shocked at how quickly the police managed to locate them. The LAPD, operating at full force, continues their pursuit, surrounding and restricting the suspects' movement. A high-speed chase through the city breaks out once again.
Read the signs.
Squad, it's a dead-end street. Slow down.
They finally managed to escape the police blockade. However, the authorities continued their pursuit. Danny then contacted Papi, known to be the leader of the criminal group, who also happened to be a close friend of Danny's late father. Danny asked Papi to find several identical ambulances in the city center. It seemed they were planning to create a diversion. If the plan succeeded, Danny promised Papi a reward of $8 million. They agreed to meet at a location under a flyover bridge. Papi then ordered his son, Roberto, to begin executing the plan. Meanwhile, Danny contacted Castro, the man in charge of his warehouse. He told Castro to prepare a sprayer and blue paint. They would meet under the flyover bridge, as agreed with Papi. At the same time, Agent Clark, who had joined the pursuit of the suspects, received background information on the suspects from CCTV footage. He was shocked to learn that one of the suspects was Danny Sharp. It turned out Danny and Clark had been close friends during college. Meanwhile, Roberto and his crew were seen equipping one of the vehicles with heavy weaponry. After that, Papi ordered them to get ready and head to the designated meeting point. In the next scene, Monroe contacts Danny and demands that he release Kim and Zek. He says that if his request is granted, he and his entire team will call off the pursuit. But of course, Danny refuses. He responds, "Call off all your units, and we still won't stop." Marc, filled with rage, speeds up his vehicle, driving at the front and closing in on the suspect's car. The tension in the chase escalates once again.
You hear me?
Steady.
This boy's sick.
As you can see, highway patrol trying to close
The police pursuit gradually lost intensity and started to look more like an escort. In the next scene, Agent Clark meets Monroe. He says he wants to join the operation. But Monroe responds, saying this isn't just a robbery, it's a hostage situation. Clark adds, "It's more than that. One of the suspects, Danny Sharp, has been robbing banks since he was 17. Over the past 10 years, he's committed 37 bank robberies. His father was a legendary psychopath criminal. He murdered 6 bank managers and 2 tellers back in the 90s. Hearing that, Monroe agrees to let Clark join the team. While on the way, Clark tells Monroe that he and Danny once studied criminology at Maryland. However, Danny only stayed for 2 semesters. It was later revealed that the reason Danny went to college was because his father asked him to study police tactics and strategy. At the same time, inside the ambulance, Zach was experiencing severe bleeding. They had to perform surgery to remove the bullet from his body. To do that, he contacted his friends from the surgical specialist team to help him.
But I have.
Colin, it's me.
What are you talking about? You're not a surgeon.
You guys
Stas, tell me what you see.
don't
Help us.
sending through.
Vitals are crashing. Surgeons are walking it through. And Dr. Farsi.
That voice. If you're calling me, yeah, Tropical Island. I'll send you a postcard. Why we're slowed down? Keep a cop alive back here. It's a little tense.
There. Put both of your hands.
Got it.
Ambulance! 60 miles an hour.
Let's slow down. We're going back here.
I need you to blunt dissect my spleen.
God, I'm trying.
Object.
My brother right now.
Visualize it.
Look at me. He knows all the time.
God.
Yeah, I think he knows. I think he's waking up. Go to sleep!
Colin, if this spleen ruptures, he's got gentle. I don't want it to burst.
Where's Colin? What do I do? I don't know what to do in this.
Okay, that's all. Just breathe, okay?
Even though communication was cut off, they eventually managed to remove the bullet from Zach's body. Feeling sorry for Kim, Will then said, "I promise I'll get you out of here as soon as I get the chance." Danny then contacted Roberto and asked about the diversion plan. Roberto replied, "Yep, we're ready to head to the rendezvous point." Danny then informed Will about the plan. He told Will to head toward the Olympic Bridge along the river. "We're going to throw the cops off." At the same time, Monroe contacted the surgeon and asked if the operation was successful. The doctor replied, "We lost communication when Zek's spleen ruptured. And with a ruptured spleen, it's likely that Zek didn't make it." Believing Zek was dead, Monroe looked furious. He immediately ordered his team to eliminate the suspect. Monroe's forces were seen preparing for an assault. They were going to intercept the suspects at a predetermined location. Sniper teams had already taken up positions from various vantage points. Likewise, the sweep teams were on standby, ready to strike. Monroe said, "Once you have a clear shot at the target, take them down."
Slow as possible. Cam.
It's alive.
No.
Charlie 2 not clear.
Sniper! Sniper!
Stand down, stand down. She warned them.
After narrowly escaping an assassination attempt, Danny angrily contacted Monroe. He said, "You made a huge mistake. You were supposed to save the hostages and keep them alive." Monroe replied that it all happened due to a miscommunication with his team. Danny then handed the communicator to Kim and said, "Let Monroe hear what I'm going to do to you." This time, Danny was serious about killing Kim as revenge on Monroe for trying to have him killed. However, Will tried to calm Danny down and pleaded with him not to kill Kim. but it made no difference. Danny then fired his gun. Fortunately, Kim managed to dodge the shot while screaming out Will's name. He suddenly slammed on the brakes, causing Danny to be thrown forward. Furious, Danny attacked Will. The two of them got into a fist fight, exchanging punches with each other.
She's gonna try to lose us there.
Papi's guys are setting a diversion.
No, we just gotta change it.
You're living here. I mean, you joined the Marines. Don't listen to him.
Hostages 30.
Stand up like this. You got a family. You got your whole life ahead.
Stop.
Upon learning the suspect's escape point, Monroe ordered his troops to set up a perimeter at the location. Shortly after, Will received a video call from his wife, who asked how his job interview went today. Will replied, "I got the job, and I started working today." Hearing that, his wife was overjoyed. "You're a real man, and I'm so proud of you," she said. Hearing those words, Will became emotional and ended the call. Kim then asked, "Why did you rob the bank?" "I needed the money for my wife's surgery," Will answered. The scene then continues at the designated rendezvous point according to the plan. Castro and Roberto are already there, along with several ambulances as requested. Roberto then informs Danny that they're ready. "Okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes," Danny replies. They arrive at the river beneath the flyover. They keep moving forward and stop right under the bridge. Realizing this, Monroe and his team pull over on the opposite side of the road. It turns out Will deliberately steps out to lure the helicopter toward him, so he can shoot at it and drive off the police chopper that has been relentlessly tailing them. His plan works. The helicopter shows up, and the chase resumes once again.
Okay?
All units.
Fire. How long till I get fresh reloaded?
Having successfully escaped, they finally arrived at the rendezvous point as planned. Danny then instructed Castro to spray down the entire body of the ambulance. After that, he met with Roberto, who showed him another ambulance already loaded with C4 explosives. Danny then told Castro and Roberto's team to drive the other ambulances and split up in different directions. At that moment, he urged Will to escape and get away from there. But Will refused. As a brother, he didn't want to leave Danny behind. He insisted on staying with Danny no matter what happened. Soon after, Monroe and his team arrived at the scene. They were only a few blocks away from where Danny was located. His troops gathered, and he began giving instructions. The suspects are cornered just 3 blocks from here. Seal off all 4 exits. We're going to catch them. He then ordered the helicopter to move in and surprise the suspects. Hearing the helicopter approaching, Danny and his crew immediately sprang into action. They took off in 6 separate vehicles heading in different directions. 3 ambulances and 3 other vehicles. Of course, this only made Monroe more furious. His team was left confused, unsure of which vehicle to pursue. Left with no other choice, Monroe's forces split up, including the helicopter. Now, every vehicle that had left the scene became a target. Successfully evading the police, they finally arrived at Papi's hideout. Will then asked, "Who are all these people?" Danny replied, "They're the ones who just saved us." Danny was then called in to meet with Papi, while Will told Cam to stay in the ambulance no matter what happens. Dzaghig, who had regained consciousness, was told by Kim that Will was a good man. He was forced to do all this to pay for his wife's surgery. She also said that the only reason Dzaghig was still alive was because Will had donated some of his blood to him. Meanwhile, outside, the police was still patrolling, searching for the suspects. Now, Clark was the one leading the manhunt. Danny and Will, upon meeting with Papi, handed over the agreed sum of $8 million. However, it seemed Papi wanted more than just the money. This had become personal. His son had been killed by the police because of that money. He then demanded that Danny hand over the ambulance and the hostages. It looked like Papi was planning to take revenge by killing Zek and Kim. But upon hearing that, Will refused. "We're taking both of them with us," he said firmly. Danny tried to persuade Will to go along with Papi's demands. "Otherwise, we're all going to die here. Think about your wife, you need that money," Danny said. "Just leave the hostages, let's get out of here." But Will still refused. He wouldn't leave Zek and Kim behind. "Besides," he added, "where do you think we're going? The police are already waiting for us out there. They'll arrest us the moment we step out. This is over," Will said. "And I'm not abandoning the hostages." "All right," Danny replied. "I guess we've reached the end of the road." Hearing that, Papi ordered his men to go ahead and kill all of them.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving him.
That's a fucking waste. Everybody just... I'm sorry. Brother, I'm not like this. I just want... Real brother. We used to be so in sync together, you know? It's usually the way they... It breaks my life together. Would you say that he's my...
The police were once again in pursuit. On the way, Danny told Kim how much he cared about Will. He begged her to save Will, who was badly injured, while he continued trying to escape. He urged her to take Will to the nearest hospital for immediate treatment. Severely wounded, Will took out a sum of money and handed it to Kim. "Please, give this to my wife," he said. "She really needs it." Shortly after, Will lost consciousness. Kim did everything she could to keep Will awake. At the same time, Clark, who was also involved in the chase, ordered the LAPD officers to stand down. But they ignored him, especially after learning that Monroe had been killed. The pursuit intensified. Eventually, they arrived at the hospital and rushed inside. Unfortunately, the police were still in pursuit and blocked their way. With full force, the police surrounded the building. Sniper teams had already taken position, and tactical units stood ready with heavy weapons. Meanwhile, Kim continued her desperate efforts to save Will, whose heartbeat was weakening. Danny then donated his own blood to Will. Agent Clark, who had arrived at the scene, urged the team to hold their attack. He said he would try to persuade Danny to surrender peacefully.
Give me some time.
I didn't know that it was Will.
Shoot you in the head on live TV. Okay. What's happening? It's okay. Danny, they're gonna blow your fucking head. Okay. So they are. Danny, these guys are gonna shoot you if you look that bridge. Danny, I can't hold these guys off.
Stand by. I'm in.
Nothing more I can...
No, come out right now.
Get those guys back in the head! Fucking come out. Motherfucker! Right. My brother...
Among the police, Will's wife also arrived at the scene. Seeing his adoptive brother dead, Will screamed hysterically, devastated by Danny's death. Zeke was then treated by the hospital staff, while Kim was immediately secured by Clark. Seeing her husband there, Will's wife shouted his name, which made Kim realize that she was Will's wife. Will, gravely injured, could only watch his wife from a distance, unable to do anything. She then said to Will, "You must stay strong because your wife needs you." The police intentionally ignored Cam and refused to help. But Cam said to Mark, "This man saved your friend's life. If it weren't for him, Zach would have been dead. Thank you for watching." Hearing that, Mark then helped him. Shortly after, some nurses arrived and took him inside. Kim then approached Will's wife. Will's wife said, "I'm sorry for what my husband did, for holding you hostage." But Kim replied, "He saved my life," and walked away. However, without Will's wife knowing, Kim slipped some money into her baby's stroller. Long story short, Clark met Zach and asked who among them had shot him. Zach then pointed to a photo of Will. Zach said, "He's the one who saved my life." And that's the end of the movie, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments. See you in the next video. Greetings from ESCA friends.